Also, I just want to take a second to talk about those of you who, hopefully everybody was there yesterday and got a chance to talk about, see what happened yesterday. And I want to thank everyone who did participate and engage with us yesterday. I want to start by thanking Sarah for sharing her personal journey. She makes it very real for a lot of us and reminds us of, what the impact is happening. And I appreciated her honesty. And I hopefully this is the message for those in the community that reminding us that today and yesterday is that we are a whole community and that you're not alone, which is something that Sarah shared with us. I also want to thank Ethan and Erin's chat. I thought that was a really powerful conversation and reminding us that we have to be really realistic and creative on how we're going to do development for these ultra rare diseases. I spent my career at Big Pharma, and I can tell you the classical way of doing drug development isn't going to work in the ultra rare disease space. And the ideas that Ethan was sharing should be sparking us to start thinking creatively. As I say, it's not about thinking out of the box, it's about finding our own box to do development creatively in ultra rare disease space. And of course, I want to thank the researchers who did an outstanding job of giving us some really exciting updates on their programs. Not only is it an ongoing commitment that they have for us, but it's really that they've expanded their thinking to talk about not just APPD, but are these allied diseases that we have. Those of you who may want to understand what happened yesterday, the bottom line was we are on the verge of being able to start studying these treatments in patients. And that's really exciting news. And I'm very happy to see that, we've got multiple choices here to come forward. I also appreciated all the collaboration, both across these academic institutions that have been going on and continue to get broader every time I talk to them, as well as working with the partnerships with some of these communities. So I really appreciate that. They're also thinking broader, where many of them may have originally started focusing on one individual disease. They are now thinking broader. All of them talked about saying, okay, this is where this might be the disease. It may not be APD first, but they are including broader discussions about whether GSDs, Lafora. We heard this over and over again yesterday, which is really very, very powerful for them. And also we in the foundation have realized that we are starting to work more and more with our other advocacy groups and sharing with these allied diseases. So we all started to see this. You'll hear about a little bit more, but one of the key messages was how all of these therapies you heard about yesterday that are being explored are going to be complementary. It's not one solution. We're going after multiple ones. For some that are going to try and get rid of what they call the synthesis of making the polyglycogen bodies. And then the other parts are these degraders that are actually getting rid of them. So we need all of them. And I want to stress that where you can sit here and say, okay, well, we had so many yesterday, let's just pick one and go. I really want to stress for those of you in the community that it's really important to understand that as we move into the clinic, that unfortunately things are going to happen and there's going to be setbacks for some of them. So in the famous words of teenagers, more is better. So let's keep moving them all along, and we're really excited about all of those. And I want to thank everybody for yesterday's conversation. But today, let's make a pivot, and today is going to be about our patient community and engagement. And we can't really have today without thanking and acknowledging the CZI grant that we've received and the whole Rare as One community that has been opened up to us in the recent time. So the APD community has really exploded. I mean, many of us who have become actively involved, and so much of that is driving what we have here today. And what we're going to see is experience of working with people that many of us didn't know. We didn't know each other existed. Some people are here in the meeting that probably 18 months ago never even heard of APD, let alone what the symptoms were and any kind of relationship. And here we are all together, and this community has really expanded. So today's meeting is going to be about the APD community and these new partners that we've gathered, and we're working together, and the collaboration that's going on there, as well as thanking and reminding our researchers and physicians who've been caring for our patients for the long haul and continue to be our support. So that's where they all are. Now, Calliope did a quick look and talk about the agenda for today. I'm just going to share with you again what she just talked about, because I think it's important that everybody understand the two tracks that are happening and what are in them and why we've split them out. So we all are here now. We'll continue to do that. And then, as Calliope said, there will be a break. She's got the logistics on the whole getting in and out of the links. God bless her for that. But what we're going to start talking about today is begin to hear, and because I think everybody wants to hear about some of the work, again, that's come out on the clinical practices guidelines and where that is. And then there's going to be some updates on some really interesting studies that we all want to hear about the disease prevalence, about the natural history, a quality of life study that was done, and of course the patient registry. So that's for everybody. And that's why we're all going to hear about that together. And then we'll have this split as after that break, and everybody will go into, if they want to stay with the scientific and medical track, that track is really going to really start talking about some of the medical work that we were talking about. We had a biomarker symposium last fall. There'll be an update on that, and then addressing some issues on the challenges of diagnosing. I know that many physicians will be interested in that discussion. So while that's going on, we'll have this community track, and that really, I think, is two really interesting conversations. It's going to break down into layman's terms the clinical practices guidelines that you heard about, and really how that relates to the patient community. And then I also think this is a great one. I'm grateful for, I think Dr. Manasseh and Dr. Hirano are going to take what was discussed yesterday and all that research detail at the very complex level and try and break that into a layman's term and make more sense of that for the APPD community. So that's why we're splitting it out and then bringing everybody back together. And it's Calliope said, hope everybody rejoins, because it should be a really great discussion on the caregiver perspective, and give us that view of what we're looking at for the patient community. So with that, go back. And I want to welcome everybody to day 2, and I'll hand it over now to Calliope. Thanks.